Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. It's nice to be back. Nice to see you all. So we'll be spending the next hour and a half together on what we call the boot camp. The idea is that once a week we meet to maintain and cultivate our health, not just physical health, but our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. These days, I'm starting to call this boot camp, this hour and a half of getting together, a sanctuary. And it's becoming very clear that this sanctuary is designed for those who are in the resistance. But in that case, to catch up to what we did before the break, when we were practicing the breathing exercise, what the yogi called the pranayama, this week we're going to switch to, in the end, a very important Qigong exercise called Yi Jing Jing, YJJ. The first J stands for tendon, but it's actually a mistranslation. It's actually more like connective tissue, or what we now call fascia, as in myofascia. But it's really much more than just the connective tissue of the muscle. It's actually connective tissue of the entire body. And there's increasing understanding that this connective tissue is another channel for communication, a channel that our life energy passes through. But in any case, let's get started. And so before we get ready to do the Yi Jing Jing exercise, we need to learn to massage our body, starting with the fingertips all the way to the toes, starting with the top of the head all the way to the bottom of our feet. We're going to be doing massage, acupressure, scraping, patting, and a few different modality. But it's also important that we don't think of what we do here as a pure physical exercise. It's just a vehicle. The body is just a vehicle for us to maintain our spiritual health. And so while we're doing this exercise, I want you to think about how you want to be compassionate and to not only to your environment, but starting with your body. So as you massage your body, I want you to really show the gratitude that you have for this body, this travel companion. So we're going to start with the left hand. We're going to start with the fingers, and we're going to start with the fingertips. So I want you to use the right thumb and just very gently massage the tip of each of the fingers. We talk a lot about the meridians, which are the name that we give for these energy channels. And the meridians have the yin and the yang. Yin is when it's away from the sun. Yang is when it's facing the sun. And fingertips are the extremities where the energies return. So it's very important that we start with the extremities. So now I want you to massage the right hand, starting with the fingertips. I want you to focus on the body, examine the feeling of your body, and at the same time show gratitude, as if you are whispering to yourself. I want you to be very, very grateful to this body. Now, we finished with the fingertips. Now we're going to work on the joints. So I want you to focus on one finger at a time, one joint at a time. Once again, using the right thumb, massage the front, the left, back to the front, and then to right. And then when you finish your one joint, move to the next joint. Keep focusing on your body, focusing on your joint. Be aware of the feeling, the change of feeling in your fingers. Now I want you to move from one finger to another. Massage very thoroughly all the joints. So a lot of you, as we age, we experience a lot of pain in the body, particularly in our fingers, and we say, okay, that's arthritis. Arthritis is just another form of inflammation. And so obviously now I want you to do the other hand, again, one finger, one joint at a time. And arthritis is inflammation. And so obviously when you massage the fingers, you relieve some of the pain by improving the circulations, reducing the inflammation. But it turns out it's not just for the fingers. Actually, inflammation is the entire body. Okay, so now we finished the palm of the hand. We're going to work on the back of the hand now. Once again, starting with the fingertips. So I want you to use the thumb and the index finger and put that on the two corners of the fingernail and kind of just squeeze that a little bit. And the corner of the finger will turn out to be very often the starting point for the yang energy, the yang meridians. Now I want you to do the same on the right hand using the thumb and the index finger and just kind of massage the two corners of the nail, the fingernail. Okay, now I want you to work on the joints again, this time on the back of the hand, again using the right thumb, massage the front, the left, the back. And after you finish one joint, go to the next joint. After you finish one finger, go to the next one. And keep trying to whisper to yourself and show how much loving kindness you have for yourself. Okay, this is all about healing. And so let's start with self healing, not just healing the body, but healing with our mind and our spirit. Okay, now we finished with the left hand. Let's go to the right hand, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. Keep focusing on the body. Keep showing your gratitude and your loving kindness to yourself. Okay, now we're done with the joints. So let's take the left hand, hold up the fist. You see the knuckle? Okay, so we're going to work between the knuckles. So once again, we'll come back to the right thumb. Use the edge of the thumb this time and kind of fit that between the knuckle and just kind of massage. And now massage the back of the hand in between the bones. Okay, so each of the fingers are individuals until they join at the wrist. So work between the bones. And then when they join at the wrist, if you use your thumb, you can feel like two dimple. I want you to do a little bit of acupressure here. And when you finish with four fingers, I want you to come back to the thumb and just kind of massage the thumb very thoroughly. Okay, especially down here at the wrist, there's a dimple here. Just kind of do some acupressure. And then I want you to focus on this part right here, this meaty part of the thumb. It looks like a drumstick. I want you to massage that. Now, this turned out to be a very important part of the lung meridian, the energy line that we lay after the lung. And this one particular energy points is very important. And then I want you to massage that. I also want you to use the knuckle and just put a little bit of pressure on that. Okay, now we finished the left hand. Let's come back to the right hand. In between the knuckle, back of the hand, between the bones, at the wrist, the two dimples. Now back to the thumb. First, work on the dimple right here, and then now just kind of massage the thumb. Right? Of all the fingers, the thumb is the one that we use the most. Whether you are working with computers, working with your phone, working in the kitchen, it's the thumb that really you use to hold on to everything. So as we age, we tend to feel a lot of pain in the thumb. So just give it a nice, thorough massage. And then once again, work on this part right here. And then use the knuckle. Okay. And then now, okay, so we're done with the center of the palm, the back of the palm. All right. So now I want you to focus on the center of the palm. There's an energy point that is between the middle finger and index finger, and as you get to middle of the thumb. So this energy point is actually quite important. This is the only energy point that gives out energy. So that's why we call it the healing hand. So I want you to massage that, massage on the right side, and then put them together. But imagine there's a circle. And so I want you to kind of rub the hands together in that circle. Focus. And then put the right hand on top of the left hand, squeeze the fingers, massage the center of the palm as well as the back of the hand, and also in between the fingers. And then the other side. Okay, so now we're ready to do some finger exercise. We have two finger exercise. The first one is a very famous Qigong exercise. And this is to prevent a stroke as well as providing physical therapy for if you were so unfortunate to have a stroke. And it's a very simple one. And the idea is that the energy, when we say this, the yang energy, the energy influenced by the sun, that's as if you're like out in the sun, right? Remember, like hundreds of millions of years ago when we were living in a cave. And so when you're outside the cave, you're under the sun. That's when you're dominated by the yang energy. But then when you're away from the sun, then you're actually dominated by what we call the five elements, as if the five planets. And so that would be the water, the vegetation, the fire, the soil, and the mineral. Okay, so the hands, the fingers actually represent each of the mineral. And when you use the fingers, it actually affects the internal. And so, for example, the heart is the fire, the lung is the mineral, the the kidney is the water, the splint is the soil, and then finally the heart is the fire. Right? Did I say that right? Okay. So this exercise is kind of a mythical, but it really works. So it's a very simple exercise. I want you to take the thumb and the index finger, put them together, and then just squeeze as hard as you can. And then put the thumb and the middle fingers and squeeze as hard as you can. The thumb and the index finger and squeeze as hard as you can. And then the little fingers, same thing, squeeze as hard as you can. Now come back, use the thumb, put that in the middle of the index finger. Once again, squeeze, middle finger squeeze, index finger squeeze, and then the little finger squeeze. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. All right. Now that's the first finger exercise. The second finger exercise have more to do with the left brain and the right brain. And I mentioned this many times before. My father suffered from dementia. And looking back, the onset of the dementia was not loss of memory or confusion. It was actually a loss of balance. Loss of balance, like the left brain and the right brains cannot coordinate or work separately. And so this exercise really tried to separate the left brain from the right brain and focusing really on the membrane between the two. So we have two very important membranes. One is the one that separates the brains. The other one is the one is a diaphragm that separates our internals. So we're going to be working on both of those. All right, making sure that we don't inflame. Okay. All right. So now this exercise is very simple. Let's come back to our body. Let's stretch our spine, sit up straight, lift up our shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, relax the shoulder, relax the spine. Now we're going to work on one hand at a time. So let's bring out the right hand, which means that we're using a left brain. We're going to move those fingers one at a time. Okay. So coordination is very important here. So we're going to bring in the thumb, bring in two fingers, bring in the index fingers, and then bring in the little fingers. Now we're going to lower the right hand, bring out the left hand, which means that we're using the right side of the brain. Once again, two fingers, the thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. We're going to bring both hands up. We're going to squeeze those fingers as hard as we can. Bring down the left hand using the left brain again. We're going to undo the fingers in reverse order, which means little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Now the left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. This is the first time, and then we're going to stretch those fingers. Now we're going to do the second time, a little faster this time. Okay, now right hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze. Okay, right hand, undo the fingers, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Stretch. That's the second time. Now we're going to do the last time. Back to the right hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze. Undo them, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as we can. Okay, it's just that. That's it, right? So you can do that on your own. Don't, you should maintain this regimen during the day, not just on the weekends. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put the palms together, the fingers together. We're going to push them together, and they're going to lift up the elbow. So we're forming a straight line. We push them as hard as we can, and then we're going to bring down the hand without separating the palm. Feel the pain on your wrist, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to tap the fingertip this time. And so we put the fingers together, and this time it's very important that you focus on your fingertips. Try not to have any random thoughts. Focus entirely on your fingertips. So without really explaining, you realize that we're actually doing meditation, right? Just that we're doing meditation in motion, incorporating meditation, mindfulness into our exercise. All right, get ready, go. Okay, so later on when we massage the toes, it's the same thing. We need to massage the tip of the toes along the fingers, and then at the same time at the very bottom of the toe or the finger. So this time we're going to put the hands together like this. We're going to tap that 30 times as well. Okay, now we're going to tap on these very important energy points on the palm of the hand, which I call yin because it's away from the sun. All right, yin is restorative, yang is energetic. All right, so we're going to work on the little fingers, which is the meridians that we name after the heart, except that it's not really the physical heart, it's the mental heart. It's really more the mental side. And then also the thumb, which is the meridian that we name after the lung. So we're going to tap this part right here. Okay, so we're going to put the hands together, forming the V. We're going to tap just the muscle part. Okay, get ready. 30 times. Okay, now we're going to form a V again. This time we tap the thumb, right? It's the meaty part, not the bone. Okay, get ready. Go 30 times. Okay, now the yin side is the mind. Okay, it's the mind, and then the yang side is the small intestines. So the Chinese actually understand the relationship between intestinal health and mental health, right? So I mentioned that there's a study now that says that um, digestive disorder is associated with Parkinson. This is one of the new discoveries. I care a lot about digestive health. When I go to Japan, which I did in the last 2.5 weeks, I think of it as a therapy. I go to the villages in the mountains where they don't use preservatives, artificial preservatives, and staying away from artificial preservative is the best way to really enhance your intestinal health, right? Because what happens when you put artificial preservatives? Well, it's to kill germs. So when you consume that, it kills all the probiotics in your stomach. Okay, one. Two is that they use natural preservative, which means that they do a lot of fermentation, and fermentation is very good for your digestive health. So I want you to think about that. Right? This is the health starts with the intestines. All right. So now the intestines is energy point is right here. So if you take your left hand, you fold it, you see a line, it's just right here. So you put your palms together. This time you fold it flat like this. You bring them, the fingers, and just tap that 30 times. Okay, now that's the small intestines. That's the counterpart to the mental meridians. Turns out that the large intestines is the counterpart for the lung. Okay, now this energy point is called the merging valley. So if you take your fingers, your thumb, yeah, it's just right here. Okay, so Lisa says she couldn't see it. So just, if you fold your hand, you see this line, it's just right here. It's very simple. All right, so now we're going to go to the large intestine, which is also very simple. If you take your thumb and your index finger, you stretch it out, you see this valley right here. You see this line right here. Then you take your right thumb, you see this line right here. You put the line together and you just kind of press in that energy point called the merging valley. Now, this is a magical energy point. It's very good in relieving pain. And same thing on the other side. So very often when you have muscle cramp, okay, two things happens when you have muscle cramp. One is that the muscle contracts, and but the other one is that it causes a lot of pain. So if you push on that, at least it relieves the pain, and then you just kind of relax, right? And then drink a lot of water. Drink lots of water. Don't drink filtered water. I for some reason or another, I have a lot of very often I have muscle cramp, especially when I consume a certain kind of soy sauce. I don't know, I haven't figured out which, but it just changes my body chemistry, and I tend to have muscle cramp. And so I would just open tap water, drinks lots of mineral, or I put a little bit of salt in it, and just drink that. Or the easiest way, it turns out, is just take a piece of candy. Turns out when you consume sugar, it creates, I don't know how, but it's the same as taking salt, right? All right, so after you do the acupressure, we're going to take this energy point now, put that on top. I'm going to tap the two together 30 times. And the other side. Okay, so now we're done with the fingers, and we're moving towards the shoulder along the arm, right? So we're going to learn to massage the wrists. The wrists turn out to have some very important energy point. The one underneath the little fingers will relieve some of your anxiety, and if you have problems sleeping, or if you have problem having very good quality sleep, then this is the energy point for that. And then there's another one, and then there's another one. If you measure three fingers or in the middle, that's for the heart. So I want you to come back to the thumb. Use this part and just kind of massage right below the thumb, massage right below the little fingers, and then kind of massage where you would wear the watch. And then same thing on the other side, use this side. And the reason I suggest that is that very often as we age, our fingers, we don't have much strength on the fingers. Or if you try to use your finger to massage, you actually turn out to hurt your fingers a lot. So I suggest that you learn to use this part to massage. And it actually serves two purposes. Not only are you massaging the body, but you also massaging this point. Okay, now I want you to learn how to massage the rest of the body, what I call the eight cavities, that are named for longevity. Okay, now turns out that one of the cavities around the eye, we'll work on that in a minute. The other cavity is right behind the ear. We'll work on that too. And then the other three cavities on the upper torso includes the belly button, the, the, um, the elbow, and then also the underneath the armpit. And so I want you to come back to this part now and just kind of massage the, the elbow. And imagine that the elbow has three parts: the center part, and then the upper part and the lower part. So I want you to massage that. We're going to come back and tap on those two. It is that important of an energy point. Okay, now same thing on the other side. Massage the elbow, both the top, the middle, and the bottom. All right. Now I want you to massage the armpit. Same thing, using this part, and just kind of massage the armpit. Now it turns out that the Chinese have no concept of the lymphatic system because they don't dissect, so they don't see the inside. And turns out a lot of these cavities have to do with the lymphatic system. Okay? So it makes sense that it's good health. All right, so remember I said 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then lastly is the belly button. So once again, use the palm, massage your belly button. And then just make a bigger circle so you can massage the large intestines. in case you have problem with constipation. Okay, all right, so we're done with that. So we get ready for this next exercise, which is the finger exercise. And so the finger exercise is a very interesting exercise that action equal to reaction. So whatever you send out, we call that the yin. Whatever comes back, we call that the yang. So this is a very good exercise, especially if you have carpal tunnel. And so before we do that, get ready for, to get ready for the exercise, we need to clear the channel. And we do that by scraping. So we take the knuckle and we identify first the center line, which is called the pericardium meridian. We scrape at the elbow. We move towards the wrist very gently, very slowly. We scrape a little bit on where we wear the watch. We get all the way to the wrist. Then we come back. And then notice that the bone is right here. So the inside the bone is the lung meridian. Once again, going from the elbow to the wrist and back. And then we scrape the bone, scrape the outside the bone, which is the large intestine, also from the elbow to the wrist. And then we scrape the middle, which is called a triple warmer. And then we scrape the back of the hand, scrape the fingers, scrape the thumb, back to the fingers, back to the back of the hand. And then we scrape the middle, and then we rotate the arm. So we scrape the outside of the bone, we scrape on top of the bone, we scrape the inside of the bone, we scrape the center part, and then very lastly, we scrape at the mind, right? The heart meridian, which is really the mental. And we scrape a little bit here, we scrape all the way to the elbow and then back. Same thing on the other side. So very often you wake up in the middle of the night not knowing why. One of the reasons is that uh, most likely you have carpal tunnel, and then you just scrape it and go back to sleep. Okay. Now the bone, outside the bone, the middle, the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, and then once again, and then the inside arm. Okay. All right. So so the question, Lisa says, I would never remember all these points. Actually, it's not that important that you remember all those points. So there's a saying among the Chinese medical doctors that you could be wrong on the points as long as you're right on the line, meaning that it's not important that you're precisely the points as long as you understand that there's a line of energy here, there's a line of energy here, there's a line of energy here, and you work on the line. Okay. All right, so stretch, open, lean back, relax. All right, and then now we take all the fingers, we point it to the camera, we roll up the four fingers, we hold down the four fingers with the thumb. The four fingers are the springs. All right, so make sure you lock the elbow. You wind up the four fingers, but you hold it down with the thumb, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we'll continue. All right, so one of the problems that people have is carpal tunnel, that's inflammation. The other problem that people have is the frozen shoulder, that's inflammation. And then they have something called the Darwinger's hump, which is also like the back of the head. That's also inflammation. All right, so Lisa says, I would love to learn acupuncture. Um, I think you could. It's a skill set. You actually have to go to school for that. You have to be licensed in order to use the needle. We do everything here except the needle, right? We do everything here except the needle. Massage, petting, acupuncture, acupressure, not acupuncture, acupressure, scraping, right? Essentially, we're doing the same thing as acupuncture, just not using needle, all right? I think it's more important to understand why we do all that, and I think it's just a very different way of viewing our existence. That our existence, our body, is not a collection of individual components, but more like a system of energy. Okay, so I think that opens up a new world. All right, so let's continue the exercise. Let's stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, relax. When we open the shoulder, the two energy points here are part of the lung energy line, and they call the gate to the cloud. Okay, now we take our two hands, we take the thumb and the middle fingers, touch them together, and then we take the other three, we stretch them out. And so this is what we call the lotus hand. We'll put the lotus hand in front of the gate to the cloud. We once again open the shoulder. And if you can, push the hip forward, lean back, upper torso. Back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. One, back of the hand facing the camera. Come back. Lotus hand. Get ready. Push the hip forward, lean back, upper torso. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Okay, so you see the pattern, right? We're starting the fingers, so we're going to work towards the top of the head. So we get to the neck now. So the neck is a very important part of our energy system. We have some very important energy line that comes up. We have what's called the energy line that we name after the bladder, as well as the energy line that we name after the gallbladder. And so there's two energy points here, very important. All these regions here are very important if you have high blood pressure. Okay, so we're going to sit up straight, open that shoulder, lean back, relax. We're going to take the two hands, lock the fingers, put that in the back of the hand. Use the thumb and just feel the outside, the two sides, left and right of the neck until you find this cavity. Now I want you to push down with the thumb, not the fingernail. Then I want you to lean back with the neck, apply some pressure on these two energy points called the wind of the pond of wind, and as if you're squeezing the water hose. And then I want you to relax. Okay, now take the right hand, take the four fingers, put that on the left side, push down, and then grab the left side of the neck and just kind of pull it to the right, as if you're opening the channel. Same thing on the other side. Push down with the fingertips, lean back with the neck, and then grab the right side and pull it to the right, to left, sorry. Okay, so now we're going to massage the bottom of the ear. Remember I said this is one of the 8 cavities for longevity. So I want you to take the right hand, put that on below the left ears, and just kind of massage that. Work around the cavity. There's a cavity here, right? And there's the cheek is right here, cheekbone is right here, the neck is right here, so massage that. And then I want you to kind of massage towards the center, towards the neck, massage right below the bone, massage. And then same thing on the side, use the fingers and kind of massage the cavity, massage the left, right side of the neck, and then just grab that and just kind of massage, massage, massage. And then the right hand, put that on top of the ear, same thing, massage, massage, massage. And the other side, massage, massage, massage. Now I want you to take the thumb, put that back on that cavity, and then just kind of massage that. And then now move towards the ear, right in the middle, on top of the bone. There's 2 energy points here that would help you sleep, all right? And now thumb on one side, finger on the other, and just kind of squeeze that. Now this energy point is important for your high blood pressure. And then go further down to the middle. There's another energy point, equally important for your high blood pressure. And then go down some more and just kind of grab that. And just kind of massage all the way back to the neck. All right. So now we're going to massage the side of the neck, and um, and then I want you to take the right hand, use the edge of the index finger, start with the bottom of the ear, just kind of massage the neck area, scrape the neck area. Then I want you to massage the top of the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, wherever you feel you can feel the cavity. That's where you want to do the massage, and then just kind of massage the whole shoulder. And wherever you feel pain, that's where you want to massage. So once again, pain is because your body inflamed. Your body inflamed when there's a blockage on the energy line. Okay, so if you massage the energy line, what we call the fascia, the pain will eventually go away because the energy, once the energy is unblocked, the body heal itself. Okay, and then the other side, scrape the right side of the neck, and then scrape, massage the top of the shoulder, back, and then on the side, and then massage the shoulder. All right, so we're done with the neck, we're done with the shoulder. Now we're to the face. Okay, there's a lot of work here, right? Okay, all right. So we're back to the center of the palm again, and keep in mind that this is the energy point that will give us some energy. Now we're going to form what's called an empty hand. We put that in front of an eye, and we open the eye. And if you open your eye and you see light, then try to move the finger so you don't see light, right? All right, but don't touch the eyeball, right? Actually maintain that cavity. All right, get ready. First time, put that on top of the eye. You don't feel very much. Second time, put that, and you're now going to feel some heat because the eye is adjusting to the infrared. You're actually generating infrared when you do that. And one last time. Now massage the forehead and the face. Massage the side of the face. Massage the temple. Massage between the eyebrow, right? You notice that there's a lot of stress here, right? And then massage the forehead, massage this point right here, this, well, where the hair come together. There's an energy point here. Now I want you to massage the top of the head, but understanding that this is the part of your brain that is responsible for your cognitive function. I want you to show your gratitude and your love and kindness to yourself. Now you move to the back of the head. This is the part of the brain responsible for the memory. You go further down. This is the part of the brain that is responsible for motor functions. And you massage the neck, and then you massage above the ear, back to the face, and then massage the fingers. Okay. All right. Now, so Lisa says she has eye floaters, and so we're going to work on the eyes now. All right. Now the eyes have 8 energy points. 8. 3 on the eyebrow, 3 below the ear, and then 2 more right here. Okay, so we're going to work on them individually. First, we're going to take the index finger in the beginning of the eyebrow, sit up straight, use the fingertip, but not the fingernail, and just press down, and use a little bit of energy, force on the neck, so you provide the pressure, once again, as if you're squeezing the water hose. All right, and then relax. Now, you can actually work on these individually, or if you put your index finger in the middle and just kind of squeeze, massage the eyebrow, massage the eyebrow as if you're squeezing toothpaste. And so now not only are you massaging the 3 energy points, you're actually squeezing the oil tubes, right? As we age, our eye gets dry. We get dry because the oil tube are stuck, okay? So this is a good exercise to open up those oil tubes. All right, now we take the right thumb, we put that at the corner, and we'll just massage the eye right below the eye bag, all the way to the tail of the eye. And then second time right here. And then now we're going to use the index finger, put that at the corner of the eye, put some pressure. Now we're going to use the thumb, put that back on that point, lift it up a little bit. So you're pushing on on the eye socket. Let's do some eye exercise, eye yoga. Okay, so now let's sit up straight, close your eye, rotate your eyeball so you're looking at the ceiling, turn the eyeball to the right, you're looking as far as you can, turn the eyeball down so you're looking at the floor, turn it to the right, the left, okay, back to up again. Okay, so now we're going to do the clockwise exercise. Okay, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, back to up. We're going to do the counter clockwise exercise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Open your eye. Okay, very bright. Right. So this is called this energy point is called the bright eye. Now we take the index finger, put that two index fingers, sorry. We just massage outside all the way to the corner of the eye, corner of the mouth to the chin. Now we're going to take the index finger and just put right below. Remember I said there's 8 energy point? All right, so this is the one where you push down, you feel a little bit sore. Then we're going to put that outside the nose. That's called the welcome fragrance. This is your what is that called? For the nose, right? Now we're going to massage this part. This is the part that is actually senses your blood flow into your brain. And if you don't get enough blood flow in the brain, it increases your high blood pressure. So this is important because high blood pressure means that something is wrong with your system, your body, and it's a symptom, it's not a disease. So if all you do is take blood pressure medicine to lower the blood pressure, then you're ignoring the underlying sickness. Very often, the underlying sickness is anxiety, right? You're under a lot of stress. You don't quite know how to bring it back to the rest and digest. You're always stuck at the fight or flight. So it creates a lot of stress hormone. Your high blood pressure goes up, and if all you do is knock it down without solving the underlying problem, something else would happen. Actually, your heart started to deteriorate. Okay, so high blood pressure is very important, but taking high blood pressure medicine might not be the solution. In fact, 90% of hypertension are called essential hypertension, meaning the doctor doesn't know what causes that and they don't even care. All right. Okay, so we've done all that. And so now we're going to work on the ears. All right. So so a question from Randy is, what if you're the other side, your blood pressures are too low? Actually, blood pressure low is more dangerous than blood pressure high. Okay, it's actually more dangerous. And so, but if you consult a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, they don't actually distinguish the two. They don't actually distinguish the two. And whether it's high or low just means that it's unregulated. It's the body doesn't know how to regulate your blood pressure. And so I'm hoping that this exercise would help you. Okay, exercise here is really restoring the harmony in your body and allowing your body to heal itself. Right. So so the question is, yeah. So if you have too much stress hormone, whether it is adrenal or cortisol, your blood pressure goes up. Okay, and the opposite can also be true. That somehow when you need it, it's not there, and so your blood pressure could be too low. I'm not a doctor, so if you know that you have a problem, you should consult your doctor. What we here focus on is not to cure any sickness, but to release the self-healing power of a body. So adrenal, cortisol, That's almost 90% of our sickness. Either we have too much or we don't have enough. And basically, all that falls into what is called autonomous nerves disorder. That you have the yang, which is the sympathetic or the fight or flight. You have the yin, which is called the parasympathetic, the rest and digest. And you don't have the balance between the two, right? So everything that we do here is to maintain that balance, right? Is to maintain that balance. So um, I talked about how important it is to have faith. Faith is the foundation of our spiritual practice, but faith is either the faith of others or the faith of yourself. So faith yourself is confidence. Confidence needs to be built. And so you come here because you have certain amount of faith, and so you hear you're following the exercise. But what I'm hoping is that you don't come here to gain knowledge, but that you come here to gain experience. And as you practice, as you work with us, you start to gain some confidence. Your health start to improve, and you say, "Oh, okay, well, let me do more of that." All right, okay, all right. So in any case, it's important for you to understand that Western approach tend to focus on the symptoms, not the underlying problems. So you have too much cortisol, they're going to try to reduce the cortisol. You have too much adrenaline, they try to reduce that. You don't have enough, they're going to try to boost it up by using chemical means, right? So here we're trying to rely on our own body. This body, our existence, this body is perfect. It's a perfect specimen, right? Just have to learn how to use it, okay? All right, so now we're going to work on the ears. Now, the ears is as much as the extremities at the fingers or the toes or even the top of the head. So it's very important that we work on the ears. More than that is that the Chinese believe that the ear takes the shape of the fetus, and all the energy points that were in the original fetus reflect in the eye. So this is actually also separate into three different parts corresponding to what's above the diaphragm, what's below the diaphragm, but above the belly button, and then what's below the belly button, except it's upside down. So let's work on the upper part by putting our thumb inside and then just kind of massage the back of the ear. And then in the middle, and then the lower part by inserting the index finger at the bottom and massage the back of the ear. And then massage the tip of the ear, yank, massage the edge of the ear, and then massage the ear loop, yank. Leave the thumb behind the ear loop, take the index finger, put that outside the ear canal, and just kind of massage that. Now we're going to massage the back of the ear, which is responsible for high blood pressure. And so we're going to massage this fold, right? And from the top to the bottom and back. And now we're going to two fingers, one on the ear, one on the skull, massage the top all the way to the bottom. All right. And then now we're going to do the same to the left ear, massage the rim, the back of the rim. And then two fingers. And then we're going to do one more thing for the drumming the ear. So we're going to take the hand, put that behind the ear, stretch the ear, cover it, and then 1, 2, and 3. Okay? All right. So now we get to the top of the head. Remember I said that we start with the fingers, we end up with the toes. Now we're going to start with the top of the head, and we're going to end up with the bottom of the feet. So in order to tap the head, all right, so this is the very important, this is the energy point where all the yang energy come together. And this is the energy point that I used with my dad when he was suffering from dementia. It actually helps to restore, temporarily restore the memory. And so let's stretch your spine, lift up a shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, relax, lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, so the energy point here is on top of a central nerve system. There's actually 4 energy points on the 4 corners. So we take our fingers, put that on top, sit up straight. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. And then we're going to use the fingertips, not the fingernail. We're going to kind of excite the skull all the way down. 1, 2, and then 3. We're going to put that on top of the ear. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. All right. So we start tapping now. We're going to move all the way to the bottom. And so we first start with the shoulder. So there's an energy point here called the well on the shoulders, part of the gallbladder energy line. Also, there's another energy point here. We've been calling this the gate to the cloud, which is part of the lung energy line. We're going to sit up straight, open the shoulder, relax. We're going to turn our head to the right. We bring out our right hand, form the empty hand, put the fingers on top, the palm in front. We're going to listen with the left ear. Get ready? Wake up. Continue. And then sit up straight, open the shoulder, lean back, relax, turn the head to the left, bring out the left hand, empty hand, listen with the right ear, get ready, wake up, continue. Okay, now I'm going to move towards the armpit. The armpit is that mind energy line, the heart energy line that goes all the way here. Now, this muscle here is actually quite important. Okay, as we age, this becomes kind of floppy, and this actually is part of the heart energy line. So someone mentioned that you get a lot of bad nightmare when you sleep or you don't sleep well. That's mainly because your mind energy line is weak. So we're going to stretch that by bringing the elbow on top of a head, sit up straight. So we're stretching this part. Then we're going to pinch the right ear, okay? And turn the head to the right, bring up the right hand, empty hand, put that on the armpit. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, now we do the other side. Take the right elbow, put that on top of the head, sit up straight, pinch the left ear, turn the head to the left, bring out the left hand, empty hand, listen with the right ear, get ready, wake up, continue. Okay, now to the elbow. So lock the elbow, palm facing forward up, and then put that up at the eye level. Use the right hand, empty hand, fingers on top, palm of the hand on the side, all 3 energy point. Turn your head to the right, listen with the left ear. Get ready, wake up, continue. And the other side, lock it, left hand, right ear, get ready, wake up, continue. Okay, so once again, the 8 cavities, 5 of them is upper torso, the eye, the ear, the belly button, armpit, and the elbow. All right. So there's another 3 on the lower part of the body. We'll come to that. But whatever it is, one of the things that I'd like you to do is after you take a shower, after you dry your body with and then you take a blow dryer and you kind of make sure that they're dry. Okay. Obviously, you don't do that with the eye, but everything else, make sure it's dry. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move to the lower part of the body. The upper part of the body has to do with the heart and the lung. The lower part of the body has to do with the kidney, the liver, the spleen, which are more like the metabolic, right? Now, there's an increasing acknowledgement that the heart and the lung cannot be separate. There's a study even that says that a lot of the red blood cells are generated in the lung. The two have to work together, right? So the Chinese, they don't separate that. The heart and the lung work together, all right? Okay, so now we're going to work on the inside of the upper part of your thigh, and inside is away from the sun, so it's yin. And first energy point is about 3 fingers inside. This energy point is part of the splint energy line. It's actually quite well known for reducing cholesterol. Now, once again, cholesterol is a symptom. It means that your blood vessels are inflamed. That's how your body trying to heal itself, by putting out cholesterol. So if your doctor says that you have high cholesterol, you have a high risk of heart attack, and it gives you medicine to remove the what's called the LDL, which is what's called the bad cholesterol, which is really not a cholesterol. It's a protein that carries the cholesterol. Again, they're working on the symptom, right? Yeah, the problem is not that you have too much cholesterol, but that your body is inflamed. So let's work on this first, all right? Now we're going to use empty fist, which means that we don't hold it tight like this. We just kind of use, you can either just imagine you have a space in the middle, or you can even put a thumb inside. Either way. Okay, get ready, go. And then in the middle is the liver. Now, for those of you who said you don't sleep well, mainly because you have what we call the liver fire. Liver fire, liver is active between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you wake up that time, then you need to work on your liver. Get ready? Go. Okay, now close your knee. Inside is the liver, outside is the gallbladder. Remember, we're working on the neck, that's part of the gallbladder energy line. So gallbladder actually travels all the way on the outside. These 2 energy points, if you take between your knee and your hip, you divide in 3 parts, you have 2 energy points. They're well known for reducing your chance of having a stroke. Okay, get ready? Go. And then second one. Okay, now 2 energy points above the knee, 3 energy points below the knee. This one here is quite famous. You use your fingers, you slide until you can't get any further. This cavity here is important for your immunity. Get ready? Go. Okay, now and then in the middle, get ready? Go. And there's one more. This time you go all the way to the angle. You measure 4 fingers, come back up. This is called the ringing bell, the hanging bell. You feel some tingling on your toes when you do this. Get ready? Go. Okay, now this is the gallbladder. It's a yang energy line. 3 sides are yang, right? 3 sides are facing the sun. This is the gallbladder. This is the stomach. So put your knees together, measure 3 fingers down, locate the bone right next to the bone. This one is important for your digestion. Get ready? Just in the front, right? Not on the bone, on the side. Get ready? Go. And then measure another 4 fingers, locate the bone on the outside the bone, like once again, from the front. And this one is important for your cholesterol again. Get ready? Go. Okay? All right, so one more, which is the one that we named after the bladder, which has to do with the calf. So one of the things that happens when you have dementia is the calf would deteriorate. The calf is what the Western scientists call the second heart. And so you want to make sure that your calf does not deteriorate, and you do that by walking or bicycling, especially walking stairs, walking up and down the hill. And so this is the only way, is just make sure that your calf is not deteriorating. There's an energy point right at the middle, at the bottom of the calf. Um, and you just put that on your right knee and you kind of put some pressure on that. So this energy point is important for dementia as well as high blood pressure. Okay, and then 30 times. And the other side. And 30 times. And as promised, we're now to the toes, right? Okay. Let me see if I can bring back this guy. Okay. Okay, I can't move any further back, but I hope you can see it. All right, so it's between the big toe and the second toe. You open that, and then you use the right finger and you're just gonna massage. Now this is the liver. Okay. Massage that. And then before they join together, put some pressure on that. And then massage again. Now you flip your feet upside down, you bend back the toe, you see this tendon, you scrape on that. This is called the longevity tendon. Then you relax, you scrape the bottom of your feet, you scrape the heel, you scrape the ball area, and then you massage your toes, massage the tip, massage the side, massage in between, everywhere. And you see if your toes are cold, right? Cold means that you don't have enough circulation. Okay. All right. So now we want to scrape the arch, starting from the bone to the heel. Very important. Then we come to the angle. We feel the bone here. Scrape below that. This is the splint energy line. The splint energy line, energy now, not the component, not the organ. The spleen energy line is includes uh, the lymph nodes, and so if you have swelling, that means that your lymph nodes are stuck, blocked. That's not a good sign. So check to see if you have swelling, and if you do have swelling, you want to do some more massage. Okay, so finally, you come to this ball area. At the bottom of the ball area is the very important energy line point called the gushing spring. So you do some acupressure with two of the thumbs. Okay, and then back to the, the hand massage. Now, this is one of the 8 cavities massage. Then we're going to do some tapping by bending back the toes, forming the empty hand, put that together. We're tapping with the center of a palm, which is the energy point that we call the gushing, the labor, the chamber labor. And then this is the gushing string. One side is water, one side is fire. We call this mixing the water and fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, now we do it on the right. Very quickly, massage between the big toe and the second toe. Then put some pressure on this energy point. Flip it upside down. Bend back the toe. Scrape on the tendon. Relax. Scrape on the bottom of the feet. Scrape the heel. Scrape the ball area. Massage the toes. And then scrape on the arch. And then from the ankle to the knee, locate the bone, scrape on the inside of the bone, and then come back, do some acupressure on the gushing spring, and then do some massage using your left hand, and then mixing the water and fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay. All right. So we're ready to get onto the floor now. We're going to do more tapping on 2 additional cavities. Now, remember the 5 cavities on the upper torso are the eyes, the ears, the belly buttons, armpit, and the elbow. The 3 energy cavities on the lower part of the body starts with the bottom of the feet, then it goes to the back of the knee. So put your 4 fingers here, thumb on the side, get ready, go. Continue. And then finally is right here. This is obviously where the lymph are. So we take the fist, we put that here, we just gently vibrate it. Get ready? Go. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get ready for this Qigong exercise called the Yi Jing Jing. And one of the things I want to remind you is that the key to this exercise, the purpose of this exercise is longevity. The key to enhancing your longevity is maintaining the balance between the 2 autonomous nervous systems. In the West, we like to do energetic exercise. We like to run. We like to weightlift. We like to do all those energetic exercise because it generates stress hormone, some of which are what we call happy hormone. And it's always good for the body, much better than not doing anything. However, if you only focus on the energetic exercise, over time, you actually make it worse because now you have too much stress hormone, you are stuck on the fight or flight, right? The body doesn't know if you're running for entertainment or you're running because you're being chased by a lion. It puts out the stress hormone the same way. And when you have too much stress hormone, especially cortisol, which is steroid is to reduce inflammation. And so when you run, you have steroid, reduce inflammation. But if you don't know how to come back to the rest and digest, you actually end up with too much cortisol, too much steroid, and you develop what's called cortisol resistance. The cortisol is the self-healing, and if you lose your ability to heal because you develop this resistance, then your body actually inflame. It's the opposite. So one of the things that the Western scientists are discovering now, the same way that they're looking at your high blood pressure, same way that they're looking at your cholesterol, they're always looking at the symptom. And so when people inflame, they say, "Oh, that's because you have too much cortisol," because they tested that's true. But what they don't understand is that what they don't understand is that it's the body developed this resistance. So anyway, my point is that when we do this exercise, it's very important that we do the energetic part and then we spend equal time on the restorative part, maintaining that balance. Okay, so listen to me. All right. So now we do this exercise very simple. You put your feet at the same width as your shoulder. You turn your toes inward. You loosen up your knee. You open up your shoulder. Lean back the forehead. Tuck in the chin. Take your palm. Make sure that it's facing down. Bring it back a little bit. And the key is when I say go, you don't listen to me. Instead, you make sure that your mind is actually focused on your hand and then you push. Get ready? Go. And now this is the part is very important. You want to, after you do the energetic exercise, you come back to the restorative and you do that by focusing on your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. After one breath, you do that on the second breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay? Now, if you're successful in restoring your autonomous nervous system by coming back to the rest and digest, you should have saliva. If you don't, your mouth will be very dry. Okay? All right, second time, go. Come back, focus on your breath, one breath at a time. One last time, go. Come back to your breath, one breath at a time. Check the inside your mouth. All right, so now the next one, the first one is called spirit boosting palm. The second one is called pointing the one tail, meaning that you're forming a half circle. You don't need to touch, just form the half circle. Now you roll up your four fingers. You imagine you have two buckets of water hanging on your thumb. You lift up your thumb as if you're lifting up those two buckets of water. And then you relax without lowering your hand. You come back to your breath. Second time. And then relax without lowering your hand, maintaining that energy circle. One last time. And then lower your hand, completely relax, focus on your breath. One breath, two breath. All right, so now the next one is called beginner's mind. Imagine your baby holding the thumbs together. So you take your thumb, you put it across your palm, you roll your fingers, and then you squeeze your fist like the baby. And then you relax your fingers without lowering your hand. You focus on your breath. After two breaths, second time. Once again, relax without lowering your hand. Focus on your breath. And one last time. And this time you lower your hand. Completely relax. Focus on your breath. After 2 breaths, you put your fists together, put that in the belly button, and then you take a deep breath as you raise your fist until you get to the nose, and then you relax. This time you put your elbows together, you focus on your back, and you stretch your back, and then relax. Second time, and then relax. Focus on your breath. One last time, and then relax. So this is the same as people putting suction cup in your back, right? When they put suction cup in the back, they basically open up those fascia. And so you do that by stretching, same thing, all right? The next one is called the fist on top of the head. So you lift up the fist, you open your shoulder, you open your fist, you roll your fist one joint, two joint, lock it with your thumb. This is very cardio. You're doing a cardio exercise here by squeezing your thumb as if you're squeezing all your blood into the heart. And then you relax, opening your fingers, let the blood come back to the fingertip. Focus on your breath. Second time, open your shoulders, squeeze, and then relax. One last time, squeeze, and then relax. Back to the breath. Very important, okay? Very important to focus on your breath, restore the harmony. Next one's called stabbing the shoulder. You open your shoulder, you grab two daggers, you point the daggers on your shoulder, and you stab. And you feel the tightness in the back of your neck. And then you relax. Let the energy flow to the top of your head. Focusing on your breath. Second time, push. Relax. One last time, open the shoulders, stab. And then relax. Back to the breath. Next one's called a cross. Imagine you have two trees on the side. You're already touching the trees. So all you're doing is pushing, okay? So you make a cross, you rotate your wrist, you roll your fist, you take a deep breath, you hold your breath, and you push. And then you go, boom, relax. After 2 breaths, second time. Boom, relax. One last time. Relax. After 2 breaths, same thing, but front hanging. Front hanging means that you lock your elbow as if you're hanging some clothes on your arm. Again, the tree is already in front of you. Rotate your wrist, take a deep breath, hold your breath, and push. And then go. Boom. Second time. Boom. One last time. Bang means avalanche. It's as if you're pushing it until you cause an avalanche. All right, the next two is about muscle. So you lift up your arm, you look up, you see the bar across, you grab the bar. And this is about this muscle, remember? I talked about this one. And you just pull yourself up as hard as you can. Use that muscle, you lose it. And then relax. Focusing on your breath. Second time. Relax. One last time. Relax. Okay, so this is the one that you test to see if your mouth is dry. You collect all your saliva. These salivas are called J letter. and you swallow until you get down to the belly button. Swallow. Okay, hold it. Make sure that your knees are not straight. Loosening your knees so you continue to use the calf. Back of the hand touching. Go down without, right? Your knee is still loose. Look straight down, lock your elbow. Squeeze your fist, and then back of the hand touching. Squeeze your fist. Second time. One last time. Squeeze your fist. Open your arm. Palm facing up. Now, without standing up, your knee is still loose, okay? Take a deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Palm facing forward. Lower your knee, and you see this big rock in front. You go push. Then you take a deep breath, and then you relax. Okay, now, very important that we meditate after this energy exercise. So we're going to meditate, and this meditation technique is called Wandering Dragon Tracing the Pearl. The first part is to learn how to use your stomach. Now, last time or the next week, when we alternate, when we go back to pranayama breathing exercise, then we really focus on how to use the lower part of your stomach to exercise. Here, we're going to learn how to do this by just breathing. So first, we're going to focus on the body. We separate our body into 7 parts. First are the legs. You make sure that if you sit on the chair, make sure that your feet are not dangling. You're actually putting the bottom of your feet on the floor, right under the knee. If you sit like I do, you make sure you put some pillows and blankets if you have to make sure that you're not lifting up your thigh. You're not using muscle. Then you just relax your hand. You don't lift it up. Relax. We're just not going to use any muscle today. Then you come to your spine. You start at the very lower part of your spine. You move up the spine towards the top of the head, and you stretch. You stretch as hard as you can. Then you lean forward, and now you hold your hip in place as you lean back. You feel the pressure on the 2 sides of the lower back. You want to put some pressure on those 2 energy points. That has to do with the kidney and the adrenal. You keep going back, and then relax. Try to maintain pressure on the lower back by twisting the hip forward and lean back up the torso. Then you come to your shoulder. You bring up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you relax. Now it comes to the forehead. You lean back the forehead so the ear's on top of the shoulder. You tuck in your chin so the top of the head is on top of your spine. Then comes to your eyelid. You close your eye, but you don't shut your eye. Imagine your eyelids are like the shades. You just lower the shades. You can actually see a little bit of your knee, your hand, maybe the floor. Finally, it comes to your tongue. So you want to put the tip of the tongue behind the teeth. Where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth, you close your mouth. You immediately feel some slivers in your stomach because you're forcing yourself into the rest and digest. This is also an important part, as you will see later, that it closes the electrical circuit. In any case, after we sit properly, we come back to our breath. You will focus on your breath. You know that you're breathing in, and you know that you're breathing out. Now what you want to do is you want to focus on the belly button. And when you breathe in, you want to bring the belly button forward, opening your stomach, lower diaphragm. And when you breathe out, you want to bring the belly button back. You collapse your stomach, you lift up your diaphragm. Now this by itself is a very, very good exercise. Number 1, it uses more of your diaphragm. So when you breathe in, You open up your chest cavity, bringing in more oxygen, which is always a good thing. When you breathe out, you lift up your diaphragm, so you're pushing out all the stale air, which is also a very good thing. But more importantly, the diaphragm is a magical fascia. Okay, it actually exercises between the two autonomous systems. When you breathe in, you lower your diaphragm, it actually enters into the fight or flight. And when you breathe out, you lift up the diaphragm, it enters into the rest and digest. When you enter into the fight or flight, your heart rate goes up. When you enter into your rest and digest, your heart rate goes down. That difference is called heart rate variability. You can actually measure it with your Apple Watch. The scientists have correlated that with dementia. They realize that people who know how to do abdominal breathing actually have a lower chance of developing dementia. So let's spend 3 minutes doing just that. When you breathe in, open the stomach, move the belly button forward. When you breathe out, collapse the stomach by bringing in the belly button, one breath at a time. Okay, so this first exercise is called mindful of your breath to cultivate the qi. And by qi, we just meant the static electricity that you generate in your small intestines as you massage it with the diaphragm. The next one, we need to circulate those qi by cultivating our mind. So first, we're going to let go of the belly button. We're just going to feel the stomach as we breathe in. Feel the stomach as you breathe out. Your stomach actually opens on its own when you breathe in and collapses on its own ever so slightly on its own when you breathe out. Now I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine And when you feel that you're breathing in, I want you to move from the bottom of the spine towards the top of the head along the spine. You stretch your spine upward. When you get to the top of your head and your body starts to exhale, then I want you to come down the forehead, the nose, the tongue, towards the belly button, and I want you to lean back and relax. Breathe in, forward, upward, stretch spine. Breathe out, downward, lean back and relax. Now, it's going to be hard to do that in just a few minutes, but if you're really interested in this technique, you need to practice this on your own. After a while, when you stay focused like this, you just go up and down without really having any other thoughts. All of a sudden, you realize that there seems to be this energy that is rising on your spine. We call that the pearl. The pearl is a shiny object for the dragon. The dragon is actually your mind. Once you get to that point, you just follow the pearl up to the top of the head and then follow it back to your stomach. You breathe in, you feel the energy rising in your spine, you just follow on top of your head. And then when you breathe out, you feel the energy is coming back to your belly button. This technique now is called wandering dragon chasing the pearl. So the key word here is wandering. The dragon needs to be free. So imagine your dragon is chasing a pearl upward to the top of the head, and you want to free that dragon. So imagine there's a cloud on top of the head. The dragon recognizes the cloud, knows that it's the ancestral home, so it leaves the body, enters into the cloud, and when you breathe out, it comes back from the cloud down towards the stomach. And then again, you let go of the dragon, let it be free. It comes back to your belly button, comes back to your stomach as if that is the cave. It rests in the cave until you breathe in again. It goes up, goes into the cloud, nice and free. When you breathe out, you come back in, down into the stomach. After a while, you feel that your head is very cool. You feel that your stomach is very warm. You feel that your body is very light. And you feel that time doesn't even exist. Let's sit for another 3 minutes and then we end the class. Okay. But you need to practice this on your own. It's magical, but it's not magic. It needs a lot of work. Okay, open your eyes. All right, so that's the end of the class. I hope that you maintain the practice during the week. I'll see you back here next Saturday. Okay? Okay，星期一見，多謝大家支持，拜拜。
Thank you，張傑師兄。
OK，thank you。
Thank you。
OK，多謝大家。OK，拜拜。
拜拜。